Hi, welcome to this painting time-lapse of my mixed media piece called What I Must. I created this piece using watercolors, colored pencils, acrylic medium, oil paints, and all of this was done on 140-pound hot press watercolor paper. This painting went through quite the journey with me. I started it about, a month and a half ago, before I moved, and it came with me all the way to Mexico. My initial plans for this piece were just to complete a face study, which I do a lot, to practice a technique that I've been working on for the past year, in which I layer watercolors and colored pencils. I'll insert an example here of what my portrait studies using this technique typically look like. Unfortunately, I only made it about halfway through this piece before we moved and ended up not being super happy with how it was turning out. So I kind of just put it to the side and it snuck its way into my binder that was in my suitcase coming here to Mexico with me. And I pulled it out and realized that I wanted to finish it. However, I felt that continuing this piece with watercolors and colored pencils was not going to work, as there was already too many layers on the paper and it couldn't take very much more. So what I did was I used a spray workable fixative from Krylon to fix the underlying piece, and then I applied a clear acrylic medium on top to seal everything and protect it from my coming layers in oil paints. This allowed me to go in and make a lot of corrections, as well as just improve the overall piece. Now, when I started to use oils on this piece, I used a different technique than I would typically use for my oils only paintings, and I actually very carefully used thin transparent layers of oil colors to deepen up the tones in the face and really bring out the depth of color that I had initially sought for this face. Now, you'll see me kind of go back and forth here quite a bit. I really didn't have a full plan for where I wanted this piece to go, but I just kind of went along with it and made decisions as I felt they were necessary. Now, at this point, I had invested a lot of time into what was initially supposed to just be a face study, and I reached this point where I just wanted to be done with it. I didn't know where else to take it. I wasn't entirely happy with how it was turning out, and I was ready to be done and move on to something new. Recently, one thing I've really been learning is to trust my instincts with paintings. Some of my favorite pieces have come from me just having an idea in a moment that might seem a little crazy or intimidating for fear of ruining a painting I was already pretty far along with, but then ended up being a really great idea or something that really brought the piece to another level. For example, one of my recent watercolor painting time lapses, titled Hostage, I'll include a link to it here and below in the description, was a piece where, again, I kind of just wanted to do a study of some eyes, and about halfway through I was not happy with how it was turning out and just decided to go a little crazy and added a whole bunch of abstract elements to it, but it ended up making it a lot more impactful, and I think it really carried forward the emotion of what I wanted to convey with the piece more. So go check out that time lapse if you haven't. For this piece, it was sitting on my desk staring at me for several days, and I just didn't know what it wanted to be, but I kept like getting this feeling that the emotion it was conveying, like the emotion of the eyes, was this sort of intense, like almost angry but sad gaze, and my brain just developed a narrative for her where, you know, maybe she's some kind of forest spirit or like a Mother Earth type figure. And she's looking almost reproachfully at the viewer. And so I decided to add these tears, kind of like rainbow tears. It's a concept I've played around with in past pieces because I like the way rainbows kind of add a mystical element. But and then I also added this war paint to kind of juxtapose like the sad feeling and the vulnerable feeling of the tears, because I kind of envisioned her as this forest warrior. Like she's going to war against humans who are like destroying all of this beauty, and she's like, I don't want to do this. Like she's naturally, you know, a being more of creation. That's why I put, you know, the flowers and butterflies around her. But she will go to war if she has to, and you know, despite it making her upset and like despite all of the heartbreak of what's happened, she will do what she has to. I studied sustainability in college, and so the idea of, you know, humanity harming the earth and, you know, the inevitable consequences of that is always something I'm feeling very passionate about. And so I felt like that really came forth in this piece, at least with the narrative I created around it. And it could say something completely different to you, and that's awesome. Let me know in the comments below what you think this piece says. I'd love to know how my art resonates with other people. Obviously, my own interpretation of it is not going to be universal, and in many cases is the least important interpretation of it. I really hope that you liked this painting time lapse and that you have a great December. It's the holiday season for most of the world, I believe, so enjoy, and please like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more content from me, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.